We are talking about the greatest, and I mean the greatest, epic support in the entire game. This may sound crazy, I do understand that. I know videos claiming this champion changes everything, the best of the best, but I'm going to present you with the information you're going to see for yourself here that some champions just stand above and beyond, and for some reason this champion, to my knowledge at least on the social media platform, isn't really talked about. So that's what we're going to dive into today. Really cool video, and let's dive straight into it. What up team, it is MurderInc. We are talking about the greatest support champion in the game, which is going to be Nazana. Now you might think, what makes the greatest champion in the game? I myself am an avid believer that every single account's different, so this is why I don't believe in tier lists. How can a champion be the greatest one? First thing you have to realize is there are going to be revivers. I don't consider revivers in the kind of, support category, because Revive takes an entire skill slot away. Unless it's something passive, but usually passive revives. I guess passive revives that aren't on a skill can be considered a support for sure here. But even then, I would still consider Nazana better than most epic revivers in this game, because there are a lot of good ones. Rector Drath, Godseeker Neri, just a couple that come to mind here, and there are tons and tons more. Nukers obviously do not fall under this category as well, and I guess there's an argument to say, are debuffers support champions? Someone like a Madame Sayers, is she a support? Would you consider her a debuffer? Is that going to be its own classification? So you can kind of take this with a grain of salt, but here we are talking about Nazana, why she's so good, why she's so much better than most epics in the game. And the first thing that it comes down to is ally protection. Ally protection is a very strong buff in this game for protecting your teams, but it comes at a cost. What is that cost? The cost is the champion that applies ally protection takes a massive amount of damage. So champions that apply ally protections, unless they're doing unkillable on themselves or block damage on themselves, and usually it's only for one turn if they are doing that, so it's going to be Skull Crusher, for example, one turn of ally protection and counterattack, where Skull Crusher has the unkillable debuff, he then takes a turn, it falls off, the next AoE while he's already maybe at low health is just going to finish the job for sure. Why is Nazana so different? The first thing we kind of have to talk about here is going to be a term called EHP, effective health percentages. So what is EHP? So you have your basic layer of HP, which is that green bar you see above a champion's head. EHP can be anything from increased defense buff, a strengthen buff, shield buff, you name it. Anything that reduces damage gives you greater effective health because of all of this. It's a big formula, but we're not going to get too complicated with that. So why is Nazana so special? Because she has a 40%, which is increased when she's booked, self-shield whenever she applies ally protection. Now, I don't think I have to explain Nazana the champion too much, because every single player is going to find themselves facing a Nazana quite early on in the game here. And when you do face Nazana, you're going to notice that she's quite hard to kill, especially if she gets one of her skills off. So that's the first time I noticed her back in 2018, early 2019. When I saw this champion, I said, I am struggling to kill anyone in this wave because of this one champion here, this red affinity. What's her deal? And ever since that moment, I was kind of fascinated with her kit, on how strong it was and how kind of overlooked and not talked about her kit was. So we have an AoE A1. So the first thing that's going to come to mind is we have a major potential to do many things, most notably a stun set. Anyone with a AoE A1, a lot of people use Sylar for that job, is very strong. So there's a lot of potential there. The second thing, we have a strengthen, but we have a very high level of EHP at a very early progression starting point. Shield is the easiest thing to get away with. Increased defense, strengthen, they will never compare to a shield as big as the one Nazana provides to the team based on early progression. It's just how it works. The way health scales, defense skills, how you're constantly progressing through content, so on and so forth. So that's going to be the next point, how strong the ally protection is going to be. And now the final thing to talk about for this A2 ability is 3-turn cooldown, fantastic, but the shield lasts for 2 turns, which is exactly how long ally protection lasts. So unlike block damage, unlike unkillable, it lasts the full duration of the buff. That's putting a ton of additional stress onto this champion. Now, that's strong as it is. A1, A2, perfect. But now we have some icing on the cake. We have a second AoE ability. Very important that it's AoE as well. That applies attack down on all enemies. So there's a little bit of conflicting synergy here, and I'll tell you why. The A1 and the A3 that are screaming, put me in a stun set. So now we have 2 AoEs that are screaming, put me into this stun set so I can help CC the waves and make progression easier. And we get the attack down. And going back to the A1 point, since we have a 3-turn cooldown on the A2 and a 3-turn cooldown on the A3, we're going to be cycling AoEs very, very often, which gives us a higher chance. Now, you do not need accuracy to apply a stun with a stun set. So the fact that all sets, and if you didn't know this, now you do, all sets do not require accuracy to land the debuffs. However, we have a debuff that's rather strong on the A3. Is it 100%? No. 50, 60, 75% chance of landing attack down. It is what it is. Of course, she would be much stronger if she did in fact have a 100% chance to land, but we'll take it because, like I said, she is just such a strong champion. So now you are probably going to be aiming to build accuracy. Is this going to be hard to build? No. How do I know that? I'm on my free-to-play account. Level 56. How many days have we been playing? We've been playing for 78 days. I got really lucky and I pulled Nazana here. I got also really lucky in the Fire Knight. I think I farmed the Fire Knight maybe 40 times and got 4 decent pieces and had a good Immortal since I had Geomancer from the start. I've been following my free-to-play. And her total stats, 72,000 health, 2100 defense. She's really slow, I get that, and accuracy is passable for sure. So have the perfect build. Everything's set up. She's only level 52 because she's a recent 6-star from the previous clan versus clan. I am working on her masteries. I'm not doing anything for the offense tree because she's not here to do damage. She's here to be the perfect support from my account, and she's already proved she's going above and beyond. So let's just show you exactly what I'm talking about. So the perfect thing to consider is I got my first legendary, that was Elva, and I wanted to focus on Dragon. I was hard stuck on stage 17, even with Elva. My team before was, I guess, take Nazana out and something like that. Well, I didn't have Morag built just yet, so I was using Kale, who of course has poisons, much better overall for the Dragon. Upon getting Nazana, I mean, you probably already saw when I went to this, I am at stage 25. Is it slow? Yes, it's slow. I'm free to play. I have all the time in the world. Do I care if this is a 10-minute run? No. This is a 100% win rate run. Best time, 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Worst time, about 5 minutes and 20 seconds. I don't care. Like I said, I saved energy for clan versus clan. Fortunately, wasn't able to play a ton during clan versus clan, so I ended up saving energy for not a lot. So I've been farming Dragon and it paid off huge. But let's just think about this. This one champion took my account from 17 straight to 25. 17 to 20 would have been huge. And the fact that I didn't hit any roadblocks in the way, none of these teams failed. As you can see, I struggled quite a bit on stage 24. Struggled meaning it took 7 minutes, right? I only did these stages once, but you can see 3 minutes and 37, 4 minutes and 56, kind of long, 341, 7 minutes and 1 second. We all know, if you've played this game for 2 seconds, you know why stage 24 took that long. We have Spirit Host Cleansing. We have that stupid champion Crimson Helm. After the cleanse, we get the provoke into block damage, and then my Geomancer, since I'm fully autoing this and not paying attention to the game, he's stripping some random champion off to the right, leaving the block damage, leaving the provokes, and then he applies, what does he do? You guys already know. He's doing the turn meter decrease in HP burn on the Crimson Helm. For what? Nice AI, by the way. I mean, it's my fault. I could have changed it. But like I said, we're farming stage 25 and the yield is looking pretty positive. I don't have a ton of silver. Free-to-play problems. We all know it. If you have a free-to-play account, you know this very well. So let's just take a look at some of the gear I've gotten from this. Then we'll go and talk about what's your face a little bit more here. Accuracy. You know what? I'll keep that. Definitely keeping that. Okay, I think these are some leftover. Maybe not. HP speed. I am going to need a scarab set, so I will keep that. Maybe I'll keep those gloves. Flat, flat, flat. We'll keep the speed boots just to say we did, and the defense gloves we will also keep. Okay, perfect. Now, let's take a look at some of the speed items that I got here. Like I said, I can't roll too much of it, but I have hopes here. This is what I wanted. I've spent pretty much all of my time 6-starring champions, focusing on clan boss. I got all of that up and running. Now it's time to get some gear. It's only time because I have Nazana. Could I have gotten pretty far with the other champions without Nazana? Yes, but you will see from the runs that I will have on the screen that the fact that she does everything, the stun chance, 2 stun chances by the way, A1 and A3. The ally attack paired with Morag, which is why I have her in the team. She's great at clearing waves, and she has the ally attack chance to pair with Nazana, getting an additional stun, which can speed up the runs for sure. She's going to help me a ton. I mean, I will do some live progression, but it is what it is. So now what I want to do is I want to take this to 8. Okay, no speed. I'm just trying to see if we have some YouTube luck here with any possible speed rolls on some epic pieces. Okay, here's another epic one. Let's roll it to 8 just to see what we got. Okay, double resistance. Looks like the live recording is cursed here. Let's take the, you know what? Let's take it at 12. Let's get spicy with it. Okay, we're still avoiding speed like the plague here. This is 6-star, so there's potential for the double speed roll. There it is. There it is. That's what I'm talking about here. So now that we got that, I don't want to use too much silver yet because I don't know what I'm doing with it. Perfect. Please, we'll go 8 again. We had luck there. Nothing there. Do I dare chance 12? Okay, we got 1 speed roll. I'll take it. Listen, I will take what I can get for sure. Finally, this. Let's send it to 8. Anything in speed? Okay, 1 speed again. Potential for sure. Moving on, moving on, moving on. Anything speed? Anything speed? Nothing yet. We did get a pair of speed boots, which is good. So the initial yield from farming stage 25, I can't even explain how. I mean, I'm wearing 4-star gear in half my champions, right? So this yield alone from the, I don't know, maybe 60, 70 runs I've done from the gear I've kept, massive for my account. Absolutely, absolutely massive. So what I want to do is I want to show kind of live progression here. We're going to go to the Doom Tower. We're going to hit up some stages here. Let's just throw, I don't know, what's a typical team? You. Okay, we'll get rid of you. Whatever. No revive. A little bit of you. And this is like a nuking team. Can I keep myself alive here? Why am I not using... Yeah, I probably don't have to go that fast. So we'll just slaughter in. So let's just start this auto climb here and kind of walk through why she's so strong. Because we're going to be able to see it pretty clearly here. Or we're just going to one-shot the waves. And this is going to be... Okay. Okay. So I haven't... This is the first reset since I've had some pretty major progression, so I probably should have gotten further into my progression here so we could really see what the potential is, but it is what it is. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So we're just absolutely dominating. There's a stun on Miscreated Monster who is 100% going to die anyways, so it is what it is. But I do want to take it off auto if she uses her Ally Protect. Okay, she's not going to use her Ally Protect. Maybe the next stage, I want to pause it just to show you the EHP I'm talking about. Turn off auto climb, yes, because it's going too slow. Let's just hit next. Everyone here, perfect, start. Okay, I want you guys to notice the first ally protection that's going to be used here. And I can't pause it. I'm a mess. I'm a mess. I've never actually tried to take it off of auto during something like this. Look at her health. Look at that. So there are some real threats, not so much on this stage or at this early level of the Doom Tower, but the amount of mitigation that Nazana can take, I cannot stress enough how this is so much further above and beyond than almost every single other Ally Protect champion. You have really good champions like, I mean, there are so many good Ally Protect champions, but once I put defense up, I'm trying to think about legendaries right now. Tyrant Ixthamor, great champion, has the Ally Protection, the AoE HP burn, great kit overall. So now I have some hard-hitting champions here. Let's just do this. Let's A1U, because I do want to take a little bit of damage here. So let's just A1. Okay, now we're going to use it. So let's look at the health here. Let's just watch what happens. Let's just watch and see. We're going to leave the Void guy alone on the left. Not sure how hard she's going to hit. Decently hard. I mean, we're taking thousands of damage per champion here on our Ally Protection target. So let's just say, I don't know, I couldn't see it too clearly, but that was about, don't kill him. We killed him. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So either 7 or 8,000 damage. We've had that twice now. So 14 to 16,000 damage on an Ally Protection champion with no clear way of healing in a team like this. Most Ally Protection champions are in trouble when that happens. Most. Again, we are in the situation where they have a block damage. It's going to run out after 1 turn, so they do mitigate half of that. I get that for sure here. We don't have to waste the A3. Now we can kind of put this on auto, but this is the main point about this champion, why she's so good. I guess on paper, her kit seems rather bland. I do. I think on paper, it can be and seem kind of underwhelming when you first read Nazana's kit. But once you understand the value of a 40% shield compared to anything else, destroys increased defense, doesn't even come close. 40% shield is significantly better. And I can't even say 40% shield because it scales if you do, and I did, put books into it. So we get +5/+5 shield twice. So this doesn't compete with increased defense. This doesn't compete with strengthen. This doesn't compete with even someone like a Vogoth. A Vogoth isn't going to out-heal the AHP from this massive shield placed on her every 3 turns. That's active for 2 turns. So if for some reason you're taking that much damage, where it eats through the shield after 1 turn, you go 1 turn unprotected for sure, but that would have taken another champion to, what, below 60% health. Nazana's going to be sitting there with full health after that, and then she'll have the next turn, she'll apply attack down with the chance of have the opportunity to stun and lower the overall damage on top of that. So as far as my mastery plan, if you are interested in replicating this, highly recommend it. If you have Nazana in the vault and you're early, mid game, or late game, she's a powerhouse. There's just no way around it. I'm going to go with the Fearsome Presence because I have long-term plans for this champion. Like I said, I'm not going to run into any War Master issues and need damage anywhere. I'm also stacking as much health as possible. Why? For the shield. And the final thing to note here, and this is going to be like something to talk about and to kind of explain Ally Protection, because I think a lot of people have an interesting idea on how it works here. It's not shared damage. So Ally Protection works where a champion takes damage that has Ally Protection on, and that champion inflicts its own ID, spell ID damage to Nazana per se. So it's not considered AoE damage. If you get hit with an AoE ability, Nazana is taking a single target damage. So if you think putting Stalwart gear on a champion that has Ally Protection is going to save them, unfortunately it's not. It's only going to mitigate the initial AoE hit on that Ally Protection champion, but none of the rest, unless they changed it, but I don't think they did. So this is another reason which makes Nazana so strong, because we have things like Perfect Veil, Duchess passives, a lot of things that reduce AoE damage that does not affect anything that has to do with Ally Protection. So that is another additional benefit of the EHP given to you for a shield on this incredible champion here. I could even throw this champion into clan boss and she would survive many rounds. As we all know, ally protection is a really good way to have the champion casting ally protection get killed. I've made many clan boss teams, even Krisk. Krisk is so hard to keep alive once you start getting to those really high levels. One thing I wished Krisk had was a self-casting shield. He does have continuous heal that he places on himself, which is good, don't get me wrong. But if something 100 to zeros him, he will die regardless of how many stacks of continuous heal he is applying to himself to full heal him for the alleged next turn. However, getting an additional 40% health onto that champion to mitigate even more damage is really strong. Which is why some of the most successful clan boss teams use, what do they use? Everybody knows the best clan boss team in the world that Victor Tess showcased was the Infinity Shield team, stacking shields to oblivion and scaling that with damage on the Corpulent Cadaver, I believe, the rare champion. So Corpulent Cadaver does tons of damage, but what was he using for his survivability? Shields. They're the best. That's why a bolster set is so powerful and strong. Another thing Nazana does, she alleviates the need for you to bring a bolster set champion. That can be very good. Now I do have a bolster set on Elva because when I did pull Elva, I did not have Nazana. So now I can focus less on HP stacking for the bolster set with Elva, or I can split these two champions up. For a free-to-play account in Progression Anywhere, the #1 killer is going to be account depth. Now I have two amazing supports, one legendary, one not so much legendary, even though she says HP, she's really a support. And I can make two totally separate teams with very strong viability. I've already tested this, of course. I've used Nazana with champions like Demitha, Mausoleum Mage, vice versa, Elva with Demitha, Mausoleum Mage, Vogoth. You can even add in Jamarsa here, although I haven't used her in a while, as we can clearly see here. Someone like Apothecary as well. So now I can make two separate teams with two really solid support champions, which I can't even stress how much this just sent my account forward. So hopefully if you're watching, you have Nazana somewhere buried deep into the vault. It's time to take her out. Reflect on your account, your progression, where you want to be, where you can be. Hard mode dungeons. I see people all the time talking about the bosses are shredding me, the waves are shredding me. You need EHP in your favor, I'm telling you right now. The champions you have are not doing it. Someone like Nazana is going to let you live through those waves and through those hard-hitting AoE boss hits, especially in the dragon. That's going to be my next step. I'm going to head, you know what, let's just do it now. Let's see how we fare. I mean, listen, no account as early as mine with 4-star gear should ever be even considering to touch hard mode, stage 1. I don't have overpowered legendaries. I don't have poisons like I should have, so I'm expecting to get completely demolished here. But let's just see, for the sake of things, how far, just how far we can get with a roster like this. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to swap in an HP aura because I need as much survivability as possible. That's pretty much guaranteed here. The second thing is I have to consider whether or not Morag is the right choice for me here, which is hard. I don't think I'm going to hit the accuracy check on the Brimstone here. 160, not a chance. Okay, so I'm taking a risk here. Do I do it? Let's just send it. Let's see how we do here. I'm imagining this is going to be quite slow, so bear with me, of course. They have tons of health. I do not do a lot of damage because my gear is bad. Already getting resisted. That was probably a fluke, because I believe my... what's his face? What is his face? Geomancer has like 270-ish accuracy, which should be plenty for this. I mean, I know it's plenty for this. Okay, stun went out. Attack down only landed on one champion. You hate to see it. And this is going to be a pretty slow process. As we can see, Deacon just getting dominated in damage right now. Okay, so no stuns went out there. Ally protection. Okay, first champion completely destroyed without the ally protection. Now ally protection's up. Take a hit. unfazed. They do have increased crit damage and crit rate, which is a problem for me for sure here. Weaken, look, didn't even touch the shield here. Again, critting. My team is safe. Safe, safe, safe. How long is this going to last? I don't know. I'm fairly certain by the time I get to the dragon, I don't think everyone's going to be alive. And then on the first AoE of the dragon, I'm probably dead. So here we have it. We've already lost Geomancer here. The revive cooldown probably isn't ready just yet here. And one thing I do understand, there's going to be counter synergy with the lovely, what's his name? Deacon. Deacon's good, but the counter synergy is real with the extra turn and the ally protection. He burns through it in one turn if the cooldowns align, which it seems like they often do. Like right here, he burns straight through it, which is going to make him a pretty easy target. Although, in all fairness, Geomancer's the weak affinity champion here, so he's the one who's been on the floor most of the time. Okay, first wave, 2 minutes. Yikes. Let's see how this goes. Occult Brawler scales with HP. These are waves that have high HP, so I'm assuming these guys are going to absolutely pump. So what do we need? We need the ally protection up ASAP. Yeah, through the shield, 12,000 damage. We're not going to survive 2 more of those. Didn't crit, got pretty lucky there. Okay, 35,000 damage. This is where the contract comes in. We really need Geomancer to get a turn here and heal up, so the stress is taken off on his next hit. So let's see how we're doing. Any stuns? No stuns went out. Okay, and the ally protection is off once again. So he's going to die. The perfect veil coming out from Elva, very, very strong in the situation. 14,000 crit, easily shrugged off by the also weak affinity Nazana here because we geared her properly. Now this is what you don't want. This is the only, I think, downside to pretty much any ally protection champion. You don't want them getting targeted because that kind of defeats the purpose of, okay, there's one stun, that's pretty good. But like I'm saying, that kind of defeats the purpose of ally protection. You want the damage going on to anyone else. So it's shared damage and it's overall less damage because damage going to the shield is a good thing. Now you can say, why does it matter if the damage goes to Nazana if she has the 40% shield? That's a very good point. Okay, so after a grueling 4 minutes and just about 30 seconds, the enemy's health is low. And I do have to thank Occult Brawler for that because they are self-applying poisons, which is helping me out and my team out a lot for sure here. So 2 enemies to kill before we get one shot by the dragon, unless for some reason we have a chance to go first. And of course, increased defense, the unkillable steel skulls. I probably should have just held my mouth until I got them down to like 1 health bar, but I am expecting to be taking an absurd amount of damage, if not a complete one-shot from the hard mode dragon. Now it's already taken a lot of time, but like I've said, don't really care about time too much in progression like this because all the time in the world, I can let this farm overnight if it's 100% success rate. So far in the waves, it's 100% success rate. How do I know that? If you calculate all the crits, even if 2 champions die, there's enough weak hitting champions, especially at the end here, where I will have time to revive all of the champions, kill off these steel skulls one by one, and then go to the dragon with a full and healthy team. Cooldown wise, like I said, I am anticipating to struggle heavily on the dragon itself here, so hopefully this is going to be the kind of final go for the tankiest steel skull I've ever seen. Again, when you're using 4-star gear in hard mode dragon 1, what can you really expect? Alright, here we are after 6 minutes, moving on to the dragon. Let's see what happens. Okay, the speed's much lower than I thought, because I don't know the speeds of this. There's the other protection. Let's see what happens here. No attack down. Look at that, I'm safe. Without Nazana, I lose for sure Deacon and for sure Geomancer. 100%. No doubt in my mind those champions are dead. That's how powerful the ally protection with shield is going to be, and it's crit protection. That's the important part. If you want these teams at 100% win rate, you might be thinking my team is great and then down the line it loses 3 times in a row. Very common, can be protected here. Once again, awesome case here, having increased attack doing damage and the team just taking essentially no damage. So we have pretty good synergy here for sure, and it's looking like, despite this being the longest battle in history, we're going on 7 minutes here. Will I farm this? Probably. Would I have done this if I wasn't making a YouTube video? Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think I would have risked losing the energy of going to this. Now, am I going to alter the team? I don't know. Give me your thoughts. What should I do to make this team better, in your opinion, now that you've already seen my roster? Do I increase the accuracy on my Rhonda, who does tons of damage? I'm actually kind of nervous here because I'm not going to be able to break these shields. All the damage comes from Geomancer's HP burn, him doing damage to us. Significant damage, I'm not too worried about it because that wasn't even with Ally Protection on, so I'm pretty safe for now. But as things scale, I am going to be getting increasingly more nervous for sure, especially with attack up. So we're kind of going to see how this plays out here. So increased speed, Ally Protection, no one's phased, the shield's still on. The combination of Ally Protection, Strengthen, and the shield in Nazana is just it is insane. So let's see what happens here. Attack up, unprotected Deacon loses over half his health. Same thing with our defense-based Morag here, losing half her health. Thankfully, we have the team to support this. Going on to 9 minutes here, probably the longest match I've ever fought in my raid career, all the accounts I've had, and we are going to finally take this dragon down. What did we get? Any speed? No. Defense, attack, that's a sell piece easily. What is this? Egg coins? I don't even know what this is. Apparently there's an event going on. So, the sky's the limit, right? The stats are going to increase. The percentage of the drops are going to increase. How far can this team go? I'm probably not going to be going to a 15-minute or 20-minute fight. Yes, I did have all the time in the world, but ain't nobody got that time. Not even me. So, like I said, I'm curious for your feedback. Drop what you think would be a viable swap-in from the 5 champions I'm using. Just a refresher, we have Geomancer as lead. Maybe I can swap in. I'm a bit hesitant to get rid of the HP aura. I think Geomancer is way too strong as it is. Deacon provides the defense down here, which, even though the waves took 7 minutes, I don't know. The only way I can make the wave clearing faster is by adding Mausoleum Mage. Do I risk getting rid of Nazana? I don't think I survive without her. I'm going to be completely honest. I really don't believe so. This would boost the damage in the wave clear, but it's a really hard sell. If I wasn't afraid of dying, which I am because Deacon is a wet noodle here, I would drop Elva for sure. That way I could do something like this, and this would be a pretty decent team. Probably go for speed here. But the fact that I want consistency, 100% win rate, to not have a reviver on a 10-minute, basically, hard mode dungeon run, it's just not realistic. You really want the backup here, so this is what I'm going with for now. But like I said, you see my champions here. If for some reason you don't, I'll just do this. This is what I have. As far as the vault goes, nothing really impressive here. We do have a poisoner, but he's kind of a wet noodle, so this is what I'm working with. I'd be curious if you see a better option for me going forward as I dabble with the hard mode dungeons. And the basis of this video, Nazana, incredible champion. Absolutely incredible. Took me to the next level. Will definitely take you to the next level. What more proof could anybody need than me showing you on a free-to-play account, right? Like I said, I'm completely baffled as to the fact that I can add now hard mode stage 1. Granted, it took forever, but from being hard stuck stage 17, right? I had blue champions, it was obvious, Rhonda and Kale. Didn't do the best on stage 18, wasn't as consistent. Stage 19, forget about it. As you can see from my struggles on 24, could not get past the 19 wall until I got Nazana, smooth sailing from there. Really, really strong here. So that's going to conclude this video. Give me your thoughts and feedback on the champion. Give me some advice on the team. If you enjoy this content, smash the like button, subscribe, turn the notification bell, and I will see you all in the next upload.